This story is called The Water Nymph Who Lost Her Way. The water nymph was lost. She had never been lost before, and she wasn't sure just how she'd become lost. She was simply travelling from one spring well to another one, something she'd done many times before in her youthful life. I must have taken a wrong turn when that butterfly landed on my shoulder, she thought. I was so captivated by its beauty, I must not have been paying attention to where I was going. How will I find my way? I know, I'll just retrace my steps until I recognise the path. I know you're wondering what the water nymph's name is. Well, I'll tell you. When the water nymph was born, there was a terrible storm. A storm so ferocious that the mother of the water nymph could not get home. There was a fallen tree in her way, blocking her path. On the other side of the stream, along which she'd been walking, there lived a very ancient wizard, and as luck would have it, his crystal ball showed him the plight of the water nymph's mother. Quick as a flash, he grabbed his magic wand and sent out a trail of magical magnetism which picked up the water nymph's mother and flew her straight into his kitchen nook. And that is where the water nymph was born. The ancient wizard, whose name was Mercurio Madrigala, knew immediately that the new water nymph baby was a very special water nymph. She had been born at a time when the freshwater springs were in danger. Mercurio Madrigala told the water nymph's mother, whose name was Tintorella Trapanza, just how special her new baby water nymph was, and so the water nymph's mother, Tintorella Trapanza, asked him to give her a special name. The wizard began to chant a secret song that only he knew the words of. Then he turned to the mother and said, "Wazella Wateringga Wanderatza," and he made the sign of a water droplet on the new nymph's cheek. Now Mercurio Madrigala, the ancient wizard in this story, knew that he had been chosen by the chief of all the chieftains to play a special role in the life of Wazarella Wateringga Wanderatza. Opening up his chest of wizardry secrets, he carefully picked up the golden book of mercurial magic and handed it to the water nymph's mother, Tintorella Trapanza. "This is a gift for your golden child, dear Tintorella Trapanza. Once she has been able to commune silently with the moon, that is the time to give it to her. It will help her in her special task of safeguarding the spring wells throughout the land." So getting back to our story, the water nymph, who you now know is called Wazella Wateringga Wanderatza, was lost. She had finished checking the health of the 17th spring well and had been on her way to check on the 18th spring well when she realised she had lost her way. Wazella Wateringga Wanderatza was just about to retrace her steps when she remembered that she had the golden book of mercurial magic with her. "I wonder if there's a spell in it that will get me back on the right path," she thought. Before she could open it, Wazella Wateringga Wanderatza knew that she must close her eyes, take a deep breath, imagine what she needed the answer to, and then say the magic words. "Rippity-rappity-rap," she said in a very soft voice. Then she held the golden book of mercurial magic in front of her and waited. First the cover opened, then the pages started to flip and flip until finally they stopped. She looked at the page that was open. "Finding the right way" were the words at the top of the page. It went on. "Stand facing a fairy-wort tree. Place your hands on the bark of the fairy-wort tree. Look up into the branches and watch the leaves that fall. Several leaves will fall into an arrow pattern on the ground. That will show you the right way." Wazella Wateringga Wanderatza looked around her. "I need to find a fairy-wort tree." Suddenly she noticed a sparkle of light shining from a tree just over to her left. "That must be a fairy-wort tree," she thought. Wazella Wateringga Wanderatza faced the fairy-wort tree and gently placed her hands on the bark. Then she looked up into the branches and soon leaves began to fall. Once they had stopped falling, she looked at the pattern they made on the ground. Sure enough, they had formed an arrow. "So that's the way I will go." "Thank you, fairy-wort tree," said Wazella Wateringga Wanderatza, for she was very grateful for the answer provided by the fairy-wort tree. Soon she reached the 18th spring well, but the spring was not well at all. Just a little joke. It was clogged with something that was stopping the water from flowing freely. "I must clear it out," she said to herself. "I must find the spell for clearing spring wells. I wonder if the golden book of mercurial magic will have a spell to clear this spring well." But again, before she could open it, Wazella Wateringga Wanderatza knew that she must close her eyes, take a deep breath, imagine what she needed the answer to, and then say the magic words. "Rippity-rappity-rop," she said in a very soft voice. Then she held the golden book of mercurial magic in front of her and waited. First the cover opened, then the pages started to flip and flip until finally they stopped. She looked at the page that was open. "Spell for clearing spring wells," said the words at the top of the page. "Open your pouch of mercurial magic powder dust. Sprinkle enough magic dust around your feet to make a circle. Stand in the middle of the circle, then face north, south, east and west while saying the magic words, flowing, flaming, flip, flap, flop." So Wazella Wataringa Wandaratsa opened up the secret pouch under the hidden page inside the golden book of mercurial magic and carefully, ever so carefully, drew out the secret pouch of mercurial magic powder dust. Then, as the spell instructed, she sprinkled just enough magic dust to make a circle. Then she carefully put the secret pouch back inside the book under the hidden page. Standing in the middle of the circle of magic powder dust, she faced all 4 directions, north, south, east and west, while saying the magic words, flowing, flaming, flip, flap, flop. She hadn't no sooner finished saying the spell than she heard a giggling, gurgling sound coming from the spring well. Suddenly huge bubbles of water rose in the air, up, 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 much higher than she could see. Golden shafts of sunlight lit up the huge water bubbles, and just as suddenly they subsided, softly back down into the spring well. Wazella Wataringa Wandaratsa crept carefully and quietly up to the side of the 18th spring well, and guess what she saw? Yes, I know you've guessed it. She saw a clear spring well full of clean, cool water just waiting for any thirsty person to come along for a welcoming drink. You know, Hawaii is a microcosm of the world with people here from all over the world, and Noa Noa Hawaii is a microcosm of the traditional arts of the world with beautiful patterns from many countries. They've been in business for 38 years with wonderful Hawaii design batik clothing. Their hand-dyed and handmade clothes have patterns that are based on traditional kapa and tapa designs from Hawaii, Polynesia, Micronesia, Indonesia, even New Zealand and Africa. So check out all of the wonderful items that Noa Noa has on their website, which is www.noanoahawaii.com. So I'll be back next week, so bye for now.